let's summarize the plot of A Tale of Two Cities. The introduction establishes the novel's setting in both London and Paris in the late 18th century. Life is hard for the common people, and made harder by the brutal oppression cast upon them by nobles. The rising action begins in 1775, where Mr. Jarvis Lorry of Tellson's Bank meets with young Lucy Manette from London. On the way, the coach is stopped by a messenger from Tellson's, Jerry, who gives Lorry a note. Lorry tells Jerry to take a message back to the bank, recalled to life. When Lorry arrives, he meets with Lucy and tells her that her father, whom she believed dead, is actually alive and has been released from prison, and is staying at the house of a former servant. When Lorry and Lucy arrive at the Paris wine shop of Monsieur and Madame Defarge, they meet Dr. Manette, who obsessively makes shoes. She and Lorry take Dr. Manette out of Paris. 5 years later in London, Charles Darnay is being tried for treason. John Barsad and Roger Cly, two spies, testify against him. Mr. Stryver, Darnay's lawyer, points out that Sidney Carton, his associate, looks exactly like Charles Darnay. Darnay is acquitted. In Paris, the Marquis has his carriage drive through the streets so fast that he kills the peasant Gaspard's child. The Marquis flips him a coin and drives on. That evening, he meets with Charles Darnay, his nephew, and Darnay gives up his inheritance. That night, someone stabs the Marquis to death. A year later, Darnay tells Dr. Manette he wants to marry Lucy. Meanwhile, Sidney Carton tells Lucy that he will do anything for the people she loves. Gaspard has been caught and hanged for the death of the Marquis. Madame Defarge adds John Barsad and the Marquis' family to her register, the list of people she wants to be killed, recorded in her knitting. Lucy marries Darnay. After a meeting with Darnay, the traumatized doctor reverts to his old shoemaking habit, but he recovers. Over the next few years, Lucy and Darnay have a daughter, little Lucy, and a son who dies young. In 1789, the Paris revolutionaries storm the Bastille, led by the Defarges. Revolutionaries burn down the Marquis' mansion. In 1792, Darnay learns that Gabelle, his uncle's former servant, has been imprisoned and goes to France to save him. When Charles Darnay arrives in France, he is imprisoned. Dr. Manette tries to get him out, but he is unsuccessful. It is a year and 3 months before Darnay is released, but he is quickly arrested again. And in the explosive climax of the novel, he's denounced by the Defarges and a third person. During the falling action, the third person is revealed as an unwitting Dr. Manette, though it's through a letter found in his old cell. The letter says the Marquis raped and killed a peasant woman and, with Darnay's father, killed the woman's father and husband as well as her brother, who hid their younger sister before he died. Dr. Manette tried to report the crime, but had been captured and imprisoned by the Marquis before he could do so. The jury condemns Darnay to death. Miss Pross learns Barsad is her estranged brother, and Carton blackmails him. Sidney Carton discovers Madame Defarge is the younger sister. Carton tells Lorry to get the doctor, Lucy, and little Lucy out of Paris. During the resolution, he goes to the prison with Barsad, exchanges clothes with Darnay, and drugs him. Barsad takes Darnay out of the prison and leads his family to escape. Carton stays in the cell. Madame Defarge tries to find Lucy and her daughter, but is killed by Miss Pross, Lucy's guardian. A peaceful and selfless Sidney Carton is guillotined in Darnay's place.